your sort of focus points for as a
Our
group
focus is about mobility for all, so everybody making it affordable. I think it echoes some of what we've been talking about this morning already. So we know there's a move to electric vehicles or plug-in hybrids, which we already have as a transition, which supports the climate requirements. But you have to make it affordable to be able to get everybody, as we're saying, the sheer number of people that we need to move towards that.
The kind of the theme already, one of the big themes already, and it's not a new theme in a sense, is how you get the mass market to be interested in, well, to be able to partake in the EV revolution. That's the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got one thing about the affordability of it. So we're all talking about total cost of ownership because you've got the list price of the vehicles, but then actually what it costs to live with it, because obviously charging a battery electric vehicle or plug-in hybrid is a lot less expensive than an internal combustion engine. But then it's how it feels as a customer, how it feels as a person living with that vehicle. So I think Ed Miliband spoke about what it was like for him. For me, plug-in hybrids now that are here are a great transition for that, because one-car families can get a vehicle that's affordable, and that's why the grant is so important to support that. You can then live with your vehicle. You can learn about what it feels like to find a charging station that maybe not find a charging station, but have the backup at the moment. And we often see that people who've gone into plug-in hybrid vehicles, you can do up to 40 miles on those vehicles, so that's all your local journeys, then actually move on to electric because they've learned how to live with the new technology.
Yeah, that's interesting. What's the kind of wider view that you have as a company about competitiveness? Well, actually not just in cars, in vans as well.
So we know we are there to develop, and we already have our vans that are electrified. So every one of our range has an electrified vehicle for vans across all of our brands that we have, and vehicles are coming. But what you know is that you've got research and development and the cost of the battery. And the cost of the battery is subject to tariffs under Brexit. So we need support from government to actually make it affordable. And it echoes what has been said already. You know, there are countries that are investing in this faster. One, to help customers, or two, to help the manufacturing of it, which means it helps the speed at which you can make.
And is it the same list that we were hearing before?
Yeah.
So gigafactory support?
So it would be in terms of battery support or manufacturing support.
Yeah.
So retraining for manufacturing. So we have two plants in the UK. So you're okay, how can you adapt? So retraining. And then also from a consumer perspective. So how much did it cost me, either in tax, in fuel, or in the cost of buying that vehicle, to live with that decision as a customer? Yeah.
The theme today is transformation. What is the transformation? What are the transformations that need to happen to value change? If you're embracing decarbonisation, doing the various other things that need to be done.
So you've got the technology. So can we technologically produce these vehicles? Well, we can, cars and vans, we can do that. Which technology? So we've spoken about being technology neutral. So let the manufacturers and the engineers work that out. Don't do that through government. And then you've got, can we actually physically build them? So the supply chain. So how do you get the vehicles? How do you design them? Then how do you get the supply chain? And then consumer behaviour. So enough demand from customers, or customers push towards that in terms of government incentives, which we have seen in some countries, to actually create the demand to pull the vehicles through the system. And all of that needs to be done in parallel. And it won't be, it's clunky, as you said earlier today, but that's the direction to achieve the overall goal, you know, of driving down the CO2.
Clunky, but ultimately successful. That should be the theme today, as well as transformation. Anyone got any questions for Alison? Because we've got a second or two where we can put them if necessary. I just wanted to go back to this business of consumer behaviour. Because, I mean, do you see it as being not something that is linear, but something that is, well, we all know all about exponential curves now, don't we? That kind of sense that actually there comes a point, a kind of tipping point, where suddenly enthusiasm and people making the decisions that need to be made in their personal lives suddenly becomes sort of unstoppable. Or is it linear? I mean,
I think it depends on personally how you live with your vehicle. So vans, we are seeing a massive demand for electric vans already, huge amounts of interest, because it fits in terms of companies and corporate social responsibility, as well as a lower cost, if you've got the infrastructure to be able to do it. So we're seeing great success. If I then think about a family living with an electric vehicle, what you see is, as I said, plug-in hybrids then go on to electric, but it depends on how you live with your life. If you're living your life locally, so we have our electric vehicles, when it comes back onto the drive, it's got the light, I know it's running on pure electric, you're like, that makes me feel good. When my husband did 1,100 miles on one tank of fuel, because he actually had charged it, because that's the style of his journey, that is then a tipping point, you never look back. If you want the torque and the excitement of an electric vehicle, you're like, this is the power in an electric vehicle is really exciting. But of course, you have to experience it as an individual, talking about it. And then you go, yeah, but I want to do that one long journey for 250 miles, and that's going to be a pain. That's different. But then in DS Automobiles, so our brand that looks after that, they provide an alternative ICE vehicle currently for those long journeys, if you want to do that. So it's about living with it, and I think we can't do anything more than encourage people to live with it, get into the vehicles that have the technology, and then I think you will start to see movement. I don't know whether it's linear or like that, and I think it's dependent on whether you're a company, whether you're an individual, or whether you've got families who are really enthused about what the technology offers.
Alison Jones, thank you so much.
That's okay.